Welcome to version 2, because actually not version 2, but like number 2.
Yeah, number 2.
We were talking about fancy other things
Alex.
earlier. Yeah, Alex. And now we're in this part, and we're gonna talk about some other really interesting, juicy things for you. So
stay tuned, guys. All right. So, I really want to talk about, and that is about red flags. All right. So, teacher, what's the definition of red flags? And let's talk about how we can recognize red flags and what to do about red flags.
Yeah, red flags. Like, think about what the whole thing is. Like, do you, first of all, like, think of, are you doing right things to the other person or not? Or like, are you doing something in a relationship that could be hurting that other person? Any kind of relationship.
Right.
And if you're doing that, that means that if that other person does it to you, you're like really recognizing this is just not right. So that's a red flag. For me, that's how I see it. Like, if I am respectful and kind and loving and I'm doing the right thing, and somehow that person is disrespecting me in some way, in any of those ways, then you can see, okay, this is a red flag. This is not the energy is not coming back and forth like it should.
Exactly.
Right? So that's how I define it.
Your definition. Oh, that's a good definition. And my own definition of red flags, it actually means people giving you things that they wouldn't accept. So for example, if I were to give loyalty, I expect that from you. If I were to give respect, I expect you to respect me. But if I were to give you the opposite, then I should expect that you shouldn't accept, or you shouldn't give out things you wouldn't accept. So those are red flags. It could be in friendship. I mean, people telling you things and they're just nagging and yelling at you. You should expect them to shout at you regardless of their age. I mean, even though I'm older than some other people, whatever, co-workers, I need to talk to them with respect. Oh, I am a manager at my place, whatever it is, I still have to talk to my workers with respect. Because I expect that back from them. What do you think, teacher?
Yes. No, I completely, absolutely think that, well, I mean, we have the old-fashioned standards of like, you're not supposed to touch a lady and all this stuff. I agree. But that's also based in respect.
Exactly.
From the very beginning.
Exactly.
So I just think that the whole manly, like the men, they're not, it just comes, again, I think it's because we, at one point in our lives when we, 30, 40, 50 years in the US back then, usually when you see men and women in their relationship counseling and stuff like that, or even in shelters, the women were like battered, like they were just, men were just like overdo it, you know, and women, well, we're not as, we don't have the same strength as men, so we get, injured and it's not right. So that's why they put those things like, okay, don't touch a lady and all this stuff. I understand.
Right.
However, I feel that a lot of the times women also like instigate it. So don't yell at the person. Like, if you want mutual respect, and you don't yell, don't just be respectful. But you should be able to also see those red flags again, because if you're starting to yell at someone, that's telling you this is actually not a good relationship for you to be in.
Exactly.
Are you gonna wait for that person to hit you?
Exactly. I mean, what else are you gonna wait for? Thank you so much for defining red flags. So now, after we recognize red flags because we know what they are, what should we do when we have friends or relationship, or when we're in a relationship where those people are showing a lot of red flags and we decide to move on with our lives? So what are the things we should do?
There's so many things, like it always comes down to you, like what you think is right for you.
Exactly.
Some people are okay with yelling at each other. Their relationship is different.
Completely different.
And the communication
of red flags, we love them so much, and we don't want to leave them. How can we change them in any ways? I mean,
that's not about them, right? It's not about them. It's about you. It's either they're going to accept them who they are and what they do, and then are you gonna make yourself be a better person for you in the relationship, and hopefully they will see that you're a better person, and so they want to mimic or go like do the same thing that you're doing, like growing themselves and wanting to do it for themselves, not for the relationship. I think it's not about changing others. It's not really. I tried this one myself. I tried to.
It never
I'm
works.
sure you did. It never works.
It never.
Don't try to. Yeah. But when I put a good example, whenever I gave a good example, somehow that person really went inside and went. to deal with it in this way, and they somehow they try to actually like change, but it's something, it's more like within, within something that comes from within.
Exactly.
Don't force it.
Exactly. People always say things, especially on the internet, that a man will change for a woman that he loves. That is not true. That is not true.
When?
A man will change for whoever he want to change for. First of all, he's going to change because he wants to change, not because the woman wants him to change. There is no woman that is capable or that has this power to change any man. It is up to the man to decide if he wants to change for himself in order to be with whoever is capable of changing him. Just let them go. You either accept them, like you said, Tisha. You go with the flow. Okay, they don't want to change. Okay, all their red flags, I'm gonna hug and I'm gonna accept the red flag.
Yeah.
Or what? I'm gonna.
Gotta get going because you can't just stay. Yeah, but it's again the same. It's again the relationship with them, relationship with friends, relationship with your family, relationship with yourself.
Exactly.
Because again, this is the same thing. It's like it's repeated. So again, like if you with yourself,
right,
you are not at the point where you feel like you want to be, because you need to be like better at this or better at that.
Exactly.
And you get to a point where you're like, this is just not working.
Exactly.
And so it's the same thing with them too. Like again, at one point it's not up to you, it's up to them. They're gonna continue to see that they're not having successful relationships with people too.
Right.
And that people are just not liking them or there are things that they're gonna recognize. Again, it's not about you, it's about them.
Exactly.
And then they'll be like, oh, this is really not working in my life, so I need to change it.
Yeah, I mean,
So you cannot force that growth. It's like growth. It's like personal growth. Really,
yes.
It's just is your time for you to have it's going to be up to you, but you cannot.
That is a good point. Thank you so much, Tisha.
Yeah.
All right, so everybody, we talked about red flags, recognizing red flags, and what to do when you know your partner, or whoever it is, your friend, or whoever it is you're dealing with, when they show you a lot of red flags. You either accept it or you move forward. And guess what?
Love yourself first.
Love yourself more, a lot, even more. And yeah,
be your own best friend.
Exactly. And if you decide to accept and stay with the red flags, remember, some red flags lead people into domestic violence and intimate partnership violence. And some victims do not live to tell the story. So be careful what you accept. If you wouldn't give it out, make sure you don't accept it from anyone. Doesn't matter who they are and how much you love them. With that said, we are out. So what should they do, Tisha? They should like
and subscribe,
and
push that notification
button.
Yes.
And be sure, share with your friends, your enemy, whatever it is. We are out. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye.